I need to have more questions like if you were, have an actor play you in a movie, who would it be? Mine would be The Rock, clearly, but.
Thank you for being a pal.
Hey, what's up, pals? Welcome back to another episode of Pentool Pals, a friendly graphic design podcast between two graphic designers. My name is Canvas Cam from Canvas Design Company.
And I'm Cole from Cole Design. Thanks so much for joining us on another week of Pentool Pals.
Yeah.
This one's going to be fun because we asked you guys about what you wanted to see on the podcast or what you wanted to hear on the podcast. And we got a bunch of fun questions to answer. So I'm super stoked to go through them with you, Cam.
Yeah, we're really excited to answer some questions that you guys had. We didn't get any video questions, but that's fine. Y'all are shy. I was shy too when I was 6, but but yeah, so we're gonna dive into some questions later on in the podcast. It's gonna be a good time. We got some real hot questions that we're gonna answer.
Yeah, I think one question had to do with cage wrestling.
Yes.
Graphic designers. So I think that will be a fun one to answer.
It's right up my ballpark, baby.
on Barstool, there is always this funny question that I've always, not that I've always thought of, but it's a funny question. And if you were in a field, like a cornfield, Cam, with nothing but a baseball bat, how many 10-year-olds do you think you could take out before getting killed? Like a mob, like of a million 10-year-olds. How many?
1 million 10-year-olds.
Yeah, with helmets.
Are they zombies?
No, they're not zombies.
Not zombies, just 10-year-olds clearly fucked up in the head trying to kill me.
Absolutely, with helmets. And you have a baseball bat.
I think I could probably take down maybe 40. I'd go skull shot, fucking side of head, fucking
yeah.
lightsaber their ass with a fucking.
I think that's.
I would be the Anakin Skywalker to my young Padawans, just reverse. They're trying to kill me. That's
a pretty reasonable number, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a reasonable number. Then after a while, I'd probably start getting like super tired.
Well, like I think once they get you, like once you get tired, I feel like they're gonna, 20 of them are gonna jump on you, and then that's where the numbers outmatch.
Yeah.
The brawn,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I could take out at least 40, but I'd start getting fatigued after like 25, maybe.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I'd probably get fatigued after less. But yeah. But
well,
what's the reasoning behind them trying to kill me? Did I steal Barney?
You made a terrible logo.
I made a terrible logo. I made. That's not Barney. Get him!
Anyways, now that we got the only, or not the only, but one of the only non-graphic design questions out of the way, we can kind of roll into the thick of it. How's your week, Cam?
It's been good so far. It's been good. I've got a handful of projects. Like I was saying to you earlier before we started recording, I looked at a project that I had. I was like, I can get that done in 2 hours. And I got it done in 2 hours. And I got approved first try. And that was cool. That's always a good feeling.
I feel like 2 hours is kind of like the sweet spot for design work. You get in, you get out, you're like, you have enough time to kind of do like the real details or whatever, but everything's flowing perfectly, and then you get it off your plate, and then sometimes that magic moment happens.
For sure. Yeah, and this was definitely one of those magic moments. Like, I knew that I had something cool going in from the sketch and the concept art, and I just trusted my gut on it, and I threw it in Illustrator, and I just built on top of it, and sent it off. And it was just one of those things where I looked at my workflow. I was waiting on approval from another job, and I saw this little window, and I was like, I can do that. And it was just the best. It's like the best feeling ever.
I was actually talking to Jeremy _Germs, like yesterday about like perfect workflow, because he posted like on his story just like an epic design. I was like, this is so sick. But at the bottom of his design, he was just like, the creativity is like flowing full storm right now, and I'm like on a roll, and I'm like,
nice.
this is sick. keep your role. And we were just joking about like when it's hot, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of hot, how's your workflow? How's it looking?
It's good. I feel like there's been a lot of larger like brand projects that I've been in the middle of where I'm doing like brand guidelines and brand and like style guides and some of like the thicker parts of branding that doesn't necessarily have to do with creativity.
Yeah.
So I'm like a little bit almost in a rut, I would say. I need to like get back into doing more designs rather than like, you know, tone and voice and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like your strong suit is just like, you know, execution of the graphic. You know, I don't feel like you're, you know, necessarily a brand identity guy. Just like
I don't post any of it. I don't post any of that stuff, but
yeah.
I do a lot of it.
Mhm.
It's definitely like they're definitely larger projects
Yeah.
because you're not only offering one service, you're offering like 10. So that way you're just kind of going down the line of like you start with the logo and you go into the brand guide and then you finish the brand guide and you're like talking about how the brand guide will be used and like what your target demographic is. Then you make the website and then you make, you know, so then it's like you offered so many things and they're you know, the whole thing is a larger pie to eat
Yeah,
from.
totally.
Larger overnight oats to eat from.
Larger overnight oats. I love it. Yeah, I try to put together a little brand guide that they can easily understand, but all of those, you know, the big PDFs,
Yeah.
you know,
I just made one that
branded.
was literally like 30 pages.
Yeah, I couldn't do that, man. Like maybe I'm just like I don't know, maybe my dyslexia prevents me from even touching that kind of stuff, but I get intimidated by you know, putting together like booklets and presentations like that, you know. I just, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like intimidated. I looked at I did a job for a friend a few months back, and she originally her first logo that she went to for her business went to my friend Shannon at Purveyor House, and I got to see her brand guide, her like branding booklet, and I was like, fuck, like this is a lot of work, but that's because she makes the big bucks. But like legit, I looked at all of this and I was like, dude, like I wouldn't even have time for this.
Yeah. I mean, again, like they definitely are larger paying clients, like
Mhm.
by a lot, you know? And
Yeah,
so when you can find that bigger fish and you can possibly offer that, like maybe it's good just to like try it once and see if it's something you're into just
yeah.
because like once I've been able to offer that consistently, I'm
Mhm.
like not working like a mule, like doing like 10 designs
For sure.
like in a week to try to get like the same amount of money that would basically be like I could get one of these big fish and it'd basically be my project for the month.
Yeah. That's the goal right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, in regards to these like branding books and stuff like that, you know, it could be as easy as just, you know, building one, using it as a template, and then just
Yeah.
switching out the
For the
information.
most part. For the most part, totally.
I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah. There's a lot of
That's why we do this podcast, Cole. So we
there's a lot of legwork involved in it. It's
yeah,
also like there's a ton of communication. There's so much back and forth, you know, because
yeah.
you're really like bringing their vision, but also like your vision. You know, I'm creating like a full like questionnaire this week to get
Mhm.
like answers from them about where they want to take their brand, and that's
Yeah.
like, you know, that's way different from just like drawing you know, like drawing like we usually do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So overall, if you're interested in that stuff and you can offer it,
Yeah.
I would recommend it to someone just so that they can get some of those larger fish, and then
Totally.
why
Do,
not?
do do you have a issue or not? I wouldn't say you have an issue. Uh, do you ever get the issue of like you send out the questionnaire and they don't fill it out properly and they're just kind of like, you know, oh, my name is Savage Land Clothing.
Well,
and
you're
I
not
want
you're not really asking questions like, I mean, I guess the beginning. Oh, we're way past name, right? So it's
Yeah.
like you're like if you're like we were just talking to Brethren the other week,
Yeah.
and then Brethren was like, one question that we ask is, if you had an actor play yourself in a movie, who would it be, right? And then like one of them had it was Matty Matheson, even though he's not even an actor, right? Or whatever the question was. And then they showed us that brand, and it was totally like
Totally
Matty Matheson.
accurate,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So then I think that it was kind of like you're asking questions to get to a larger answer, even though that they don't know what that really means, except for what's going to happen on the backside of things, right?
Yeah, totally. I think
It's really up to you to extract those answers properly so that you can get a larger
for sure. Yeah,
idea.
my questionnaire just might not be juicy enough to get those answers, because I typically, my questionnaire is like, because I send it out as soon as someone hits me up, because I'll especially if I know, because you could tell by looking at somebody when they hit you up through like Instagram or email or something like that. You kind of vet them, and so
Yeah.
I'll send out a questionnaire when I know this person is going to be like a little difficult. And no, I wouldn't say difficult, just kind of unpredictable.
Yeah.
And so I'll send out the questionnaire. I should just send it out
To
regardless.
everyone.
Yeah, to everyone. But it's basically verbatim. It's, what's the name of your business or brand? What do you have? What do you want to accomplish with these designs? What do you want? Do you want a logo kit or like a full brand guide?
Yeah.
And then stuff like that. But I need to have more questions like, if you were, have an actor play you in a movie, who would it be? Mine would be The Rock, clearly, but but
That's funny, man.
yeah. Wayne's World. All right, guys. So this week we put out a post asking you to ask us anything. We really, really meant that. We got some juicy questions on this one. Some that are really good, and you got my interest with the wrestling cage match. So we're gonna get to that one last. But yeah, cool. Let's dive through these questions.
Yeah, I love this one from Art Time Job. And they ask, if a designer is versatile or has several different styles, should they keep those styles in separate portfolios / accounts, or lump them all into one?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I would lump it all into one, because like I do kind of dabble in different styles, and I feel like if a potential client's looking at your portfolio or your website and they can see the long range that you can do, I feel like that's a positive thing.
Yeah, I think that it goes both ways, right? On a larger scale, showing that you're able to do all these things is great. But when you have a client that, like, let's say for instance, is just in the drink space,
Yeah.
and you want to show all your portfolio, like you wouldn't want to show them your websites or your logo kits or whatever. Like they want to see packaging design. So
Yeah.
if you could lump all of your packaging design into one PDF so that it's more defined for that one brand, you'll be more likely to get the job in that case.
For sure. No, I totally agree with that.
So larger scale, having a website that has like all of your stuff and like making sure that it's precise and laid out is great. But when you have a client that is specific and asking for one thing, I think it'd be good to have like your PDF laid out for, let's say, logo, packaging, website, whatever that specific need is.
Yeah.
So that way they can go through and see your past works. So it's good that you can wrap up your past works all specific to that certain field and then provide that to what they're asking for.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it the first time around. Yeah, so it's like potential clients who are coming to you, they want to see a more targeted, targeted style for what they're looking for. So it's like if I have to dig through all of this other stuff, yeah, that makes total sense of, at least section it out a little bit, especially like, websites, away from, PDF. If you're looking at a website, you look at Lincoln, they're all, positioned to where they're all sectioned off. You can look at, Mattel or Hot Wheels or, any other type of thing like WWE. You just click on the section and bam, you're like in that style. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. All right, so our next question is from K Bontrager 12. When starting a design company, do you take anyone and any project or specialize off the bat?
Yeah. So basically asking like, do you take on any project at the beginning and it doesn't matter like what style it's in or whatever, or do you go in the very beginning and like just specialize in one thing?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like a yes and no to this question. In the very beginning, at least for myself, and I didn't exactly know I was doing this at the time, but at the end of it, like was really important was that I was just putting out my own personal work in the beginning and posting that on Instagram. That was just simply because I like to do it and I wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
And I would recommend that to anyone really because you need to put out the work that you want to attract to receive.
100%.
And if you're going to put out work that you don't want to get back, people are going to see that and either not like it because you don't like it, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Or hit you up because now they see that you do, I don't know, dentist logos. You know what I mean? Like something that may not be that fun for you. But at that early phases of design, I mean, money is a key important factor to make sure that we can make a living and eat and, continue in the field. So being available to take on all projects and kind of stretch your legs on things that you possibly might not like to do or not really want to do, but at least you get to like test it out and see if it works, and at least you're getting paid for it. And you might be doing those like $100 projects in the beginning, but in the end you'll probably be leveling up because that work that you're putting out that you actually enjoy to do will hopefully be getting traction, and that will be the reoccurring work you'll get in the future.
100%. When I first started, I was kind of taking on any job that came my way, whether I was comfortable or not. Sometimes I figured out, I was really, really good at that style. But then in other cases, it was like, all right, so maybe I don't. And now that I know that I'm not good at, this other style over here, thin lines and dainty dentist logos, just as an example, I learned from there, okay, next time someone hits me up wanting something like that, I can at least tell them, hey, I'm not really good at that style. So now I'm at least picking and choosing a little bit better. When I would say when starting, when someone comes your way for, logo work and stuff like that, you should take it on, because one, that'll just build your portfolio a little bit better so that, you can kind of get to where, you're like Cole and I, to where, someone will come to us and we do say no sometimes, hey, I'm not really good at that. That's not what I specialize in. But I would say when you're first starting out and you got to branch out to do a design company, just take on all you can.
Yeah. And even now, to where I would feel like we're experienced in the space, I think we can say that now. Like I still am a yes man. Like I'll basically take on just about everything, and that doesn't mean I have to post everything on my page. Mm-hmm. But if I don't want to do a project, it usually just means that it's a higher price point to a point where I do want to do the project.
Yeah.
And I think that the main thing that I would say no to a project would be because of like red flags within the client, or giving me too hard of a time in the very beginning phases of a project where that the relationship wouldn't necessarily work out. So more or less, like I seek for those people. Like I search for looking for like working with good people rather than anything else, because once you have like a fun, good person that you're working with, they're usually open to creative ideas and let you kind of like have a little bit more freedom, and also like the communication's way better and the
For sure.
day-to-day vibe is great.
Well, when you're working with someone you like, it's so much easier to execute the job. If you get along with this person, you vibe well with this person who's paying you money to, do a design. It's like, for example, speaking of not good people,
No, don't.
the only time I've ever had to, I would say the last time I had to say like, hey, I can't do this job, and I had to send the money back, was, our mutual nightmare client. And in that moment, I was just like, hey, I can't do this job for you. I'm sorry. Here's your money back. And it was like I chose to do that. But when you have good chemistry with your client and you can vibe well off of each other, it's not even like, you're putting your heads together and you're creating something so easy. So relationship with your client means everything.
Yeah.
I could be sitting down doing a design for someone that I really don't like, and I'm miserable sitting there because my emotions are like out of whack.
Yeah. And like, I know we've gotten a little off topic, but it doesn't really matter.
It's our podcast.
Like
Solo pals.
it's a real thing. Like,
Rails.
if I have a really good relationship with my client, like I'll definitely put in like the extra, like extra everything, right? Like I'll give it to you faster. I'll give you an extra design for free. I'll do you like favors every now and then because
for sure,
like you're reciprocating in different ways. You know what I mean? So relationship with clients is absolutely everything. And I think that where this revolves back to the question is just that, like, if you're taking on every project in the very, very beginning, some of those clients may suck, and those will just be learning lessons to who you want to work with in the future.
100%. I 100% agree with you. Who was saying a few weeks ago, it was when we were on Shirt Show, is like, be friends with the screen printer. Well, be friends with your graphic designer too. Be nice. Be nice to them.
Seriously. So we have another question from Hase Nick, and I definitely butchered that Hase.
It's all
there's 2 A's. Hase Nick.
Hase Nick.
One of those is hopefully right. Sorry, Nick. Yeah. Okay. How do you guys keep your design work projects organized? Is there a specific system/program you use to keep on track and make sure you're working on the most important parts of a project? ?
Right here, baby. Legal pad. Tear that piece of paper out, update it, we'll move forward.
Yeah, note taking, list organizing, like, is definitely like an obvious, but the most important. I mean, if you're not making some sort of checklist for yourself, I feel like things usually like get forgotten about, or your anxiety is getting overwhelmed because you have too many projects and you don't have anything organized. So I feel like, making some sort of checklist is so important.
100%.
I have a super unorthodox method, which I wouldn't necessarily suggest to anybody, but I usually don't open up my emails unless I'm ready to take on that job or task in that moment. So I usually have about 15 to 20 unread emails every morning, which, again, I don't necessarily recommend this to anybody because sometimes it gives me like a lot of anxiety, and I really make sure that, like, at the end of the day, that I really don't I don't want to have any unread messages. So that's kind of like where my headspace is on a day-to-day, which I'm trying to find out things that are like better in that case. But it's hard to tell people in my own head. It's hard to be like, hey, I'm working on this, but then like not working on it and then working on it. I rather have like answers for people. So it's just like in the beginning, I'm like, hey, I'm working on your project. I'm going to have it to you next Friday. Right. And they know that. And then, but if they like email me like again during that period, then like, I'm just going to leave you on unread, because I told you like what I'm going to do. So I'm working on that right now. And then once I have that for you, then we can open up the next part of the conversation.
Totally. That's the worst. And I have a client that I like. He has my phone number. And so, and
I give everyone my phone number, and sometimes it's
it's like I try to tell people that I'm clients that I'm not really super close with, that I just do work for. I try to tell them like, hey, let's leave it to either DM on Instagram or email. And when I have a phone conversation with them, I'll just tell them on the first call, like, you don't have to text me about stuff, like we can keep the email. But then, you get closer with your clients, and then they start texting you, hey man, any updates for me? And it's like, I told you by next Friday, I'll send you updates. You don't have to text me,
right.
like, hey, how's it looking?
I know.
Because going back to, you were saying it gives you anxiety. It gives me anxiety. Like, it gives me crippling anxiety sometimes, the thought of having to like text clients or email clients, when I'm not ready,
Yeah.
And I found myself early or like late last week stressed out to my core, because I had like 3 people going like, how's my design looking? And it's just like, I don't want to talk to you right now.
It gets me out of my creative mojo too.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden I have like the pressure on my shoulders that now they're waiting for it. Like now they're like whatever. And that's like a biggest thing to tiptoe around when it comes to relationships with your clients, because like then I also have like, all right, if my client has my phone number, they're probably one of my better clients.
Yeah.
Just because we have open dialogue and we're probably like pretty friendly at this point. I'm not necessarily sending them like the same sort of like doctored, like professional letters. I'm saying like, yo, what's up? Like, hey, what's up? Like, my weekend was crazy. You know what I mean? Like that, that kind of like conversation.
I'm so drunk. I didn't work on your logo at all.
Yeah, like we talk about things that aren't just necessarily about the project at that point. If you have my phone number, right?
Yeah. Sure.
But and then that's like client designer relationship gets a little skewed. You don't really know where that line is where they feel like they can hit you up or check on you, even though we literally just talked yesterday and that. But then they start realizing how long it really takes you to make a design, and I don't really necessarily blame them. For sure. But when we have a whole business to run, I just feel like having some sort of like wall between you and the client is kind of best. But then I flip-flop on that, because I feel like a lot of people come back to you not only for the design, but also because of the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost more so because of the relationship.
Yeah, because in a sense to where it's like, if you're doing enough work for them, you're kind of becoming their friend, an ally for their brand to kind of succeed. And so it's like you get comfortable, with that person, and it's kind of hard, it happens all the time. Like, that's how me and my friend Kevin, who I saw yesterday morning, I mentioned him on the podcast last week and we talked about it, but that's how our friendship even started. He was fixing my bike, he would come to me for designs, and then all of a sudden we just became like really good friends. So it happens like that.
Totally. And here we go on tangents again, but I think that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
into the Instagram story. Someone
asked, did I ask you that, or did I ask you that one, or did you ask me that one?
Ask which one? Oh, you read that one.
Yeah. All right, you go next.
Real quick, this one. Someone asked, "Do you do the cha-cha?" And that someone was me from the Canvas Design Company Instagram page.
Give graphic designers a podcast, and this is how it goes.
Yeah. Seriously. Essigs _0214 asks, will you be going to DesignerCon? Yes, we will be at DesignerCon.
Absolutely.
We'll be at
First time
DesignerCon.
me and Cam are gonna meet DesignerCon.
Yeah. It's gonna be a spectacle.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
Yeah,
time.
we're gonna be walking around. I'm actually currently designing little flyers that we're gonna be handing out. Cole, I'll show you after. It's pretty cool. It's pretty on brand. But yes, we will be at DesignerCon. It's gonna be a good time. If you see us, just thank us for being pals, or yell our theme song at us, please.
Yeah, I'm super excited for
Yeah,
DesignerCon.
it's gonna be a good time.
Liam asks, what is your favorite thing to do design-wise?
I like monograms a lot. I don't do enough, but when I get asked to do one or the opportunity arises, there's just something about, unifying letter forms and figuring out the right path to kind of cut and weave that I really, really enjoy. And I remember when I first figured out how to do it, I remember posting the graphic and being like really, really proud of this monogram. So yeah, I really like doing monograms.
That was beautiful, Cam.
Thank you.
I'm like happy for you that you like monograms.
Thanks, man. I'm working on one right now, and I put it in the middle of a bottle cap, and I'd never built a bottle cap design ever, and I did it first try, and I threw that monogram in there just to put the icing on the cake, and I was like, ooh, that's hot. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What about
I
you?
would say that my favorite thing to do is like my favorite thing to do is like animal badges.
Cool.
Something that's like locked up in some sort of badge. But
Yeah.
I feel like also when I get to work with like panthers or tigers or eagles or something like that, I get like the most excited. Mostly because I feel like it's the easiest way to use a reference,
Yeah. Totally.
using, animal references. And then like, sometimes people get kind of crazy. Like if you use their face, then like it looks like someone else, but like an animal is an animal. So it kind of just like I feel like it gives me the most free range. And then also when it's like built out to be like balanced and like locked up and everything's all nice and tight and
Yeah.
the space is working properly, then I'm the most stoked.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
So a common grackle asks, dear pals, frosted or unfrosted Pop-Tarts? Follow up, cold or toasted?
Dang, that's a good question. Frosted Pop-Tarts all the way.
If anyone says unfrosted Pop-Tarts, I don't
I
know.
Yeah, it's like isn't it like the blueberry ones don't have like a frosted coating on top or something like that? But so I'll answer your question right away. Chocolate brownie Pop-Tart, toasted, has got the frosting on. Toasted, you pull that bitch apart and it like chocolate melty. Oh, it's great. Dip it in milk.
Cam went deep on that one.
I did go deep on that one.
So I'd say frosted easily, and I could do cold or toasted, but honestly, just like a cold Pop-Tart is kind of dank.
Yeah. If you're on the go,
I'm usually kind of lazy.
You're in the car, dude. They come in a 2-pack. You just kind of like sift it up, and you're just eating it right out of the bag. All right, and so our next question is from Lavelle Design Co. If being a creative wasn't a thing, what profession would you find yourself enjoying?
I feel like I would still need to work with brands.
Okay. A brand manager or something?
I was gonna say like brand strategist, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I still feel like I would need to be in some sort of creative space, and I feel like maybe being a brand strategist would be the closest thing to it. And then I would be able to like maneuver about how the brand works and what demographic. Basically,
but his question is, if being a creative wasn't a thing, so if you couldn't work in a
no creativity
whatsoever.
Oh,
it's hard. I know it's hard for you because like you said that you've been around like brands your whole life.
Oh, I've
like
done
your dad and stuff like that.
Yeah,
this is a really like life-changing question for you.
I would be lost. I'd be a sad sack of shit.
I feel the same because like I've been around sign painting and art my entire life, you know. So like I did work in coffee for a while, and that there is a level of creativity to that, but not like, you know, what we do. But I feel like if I wasn't an artist, I'd probably still be stuck in coffee
Yeah.
because that's
I
really the
mean,
only thing I've
this
ever
hurts
done.
me to say, but I'd probably be in like sales.
Sales, okay,
And I hate even just saying that out loud.
yeah. That was a good question though.
ML Groff Nines asks, through which channels do you receive the majority of your clients?
Instagram, hands down.
Hands down. I would honestly say like 95% of my clients come through Instagram.
Yeah.
And then the other 5% is relationship based from networking, friendships, family, referrals. But my referrals usually come from people who I've worked with on Instagram.
Yeah.
But a ton of my work comes from Instagram. I also don't have like a Dribble or a like. I mean, I have a LinkedIn, but no one ever is hiring anyone from LinkedIn.
Use LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn too, and I have a Dribble. I don't use them as much, but like I've never gotten into hype about LinkedIn. You know, and the amount that I've used it has never benefited me, you know, work wise. Instagram has been, you know, my home in a sense for, you know, getting clients and doing all that stuff, especially kind of like since we do a lot of stuff for brands. One brand will tell another brand, which tells another brand. So, and that's where a lot of brands, you know, live is on Instagram. So, yeah, it's just one of those.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the quality of work can always skew, and I think that like if someone is hitting you up on LinkedIn, you might be getting like a larger fish, but there's also a bunch of robots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of robots on Instagram too.
A lot of
so
robots on Instagram.
yeah.
I always looked at like I'll look through my Instagram story and there's like the picture of a big butt and it said, don't look at the link in my bio.
Seriously, it's so many.
So many.
Yeah. I wish I mean, they've got to be trying to figure something out because of that, because
it's ridiculous,
it's
man.
ridiculous.
And I'll get messages on Instagram and it's like a group and it said like the message will say like, you want to see me naked, click here. It's like I'm not dumb enough to click on that stupid link.
Seriously. And it's like, why did you just put me in this group of like all these other people? I like,
I feel bad for the sad sap that goes, me.
Oh man.
People fall for that. It's crazy.
I think we're pretty much through.
Yeah, we got one last question that I've been waiting for. Let's see.
I'll ask you because they didn't want to know my answer.
Huh? I know. They directly tagged
They didn't want to know my answer. So I guess I'll just have to ask you. And Hey Good Neighbor asks Cam specifically, not me. Hey Cam.
Hey.
Not me. Hey Good Neighbor. Hey Good Neighbor asks Cam specifically. Ask anything. Okay. Cam is Cam only. If you could see any two designers fight in a cage match, who would you pick and who wins?
Ooh, yeah. Cream of the crop. I get this question. Ooh. Honestly, oh shit. Fucking the Matrix just happened behind me. Anyway, I would love to see Draplin, Francisco Never Made in a cage match for the world championship. Two big dogs. that would be a spectacle right there.
Yeah, we should make that graphic of like Draplin on one side.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Like Street Fighter, you know, like the Street Fighter. It's like
yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna edit that. I'm gonna build that graphic. I've been doing a lot of wrestling graphics, so I've already got it built.
That would be super funny.
Hell yeah. But yeah, no, Draplin versus Francisco. That's the match. That's the cage match. And
Honestly,
the
that's a
co-main
great
event.
answer.
Yeah, it is. 2 heavyweights, baby.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win? No one knows. No one knows except me. I'm writing the match. But
Yeah.
but the co-main event can be Jamie Brindle
And Judd Lively.
and Judd Lively. Boom. That's it. That's the co-main event. And Judd, you better win that match. Hi, buddy. That's a great question.
All right. Well,
Thank you, good neighbor.
thank you to everyone who got involved on this week's episode. We appreciate you. And you pals were on the episode just as much as we were. So thanks for joining us, pals.
Yeah, thanks, pals. We're gonna definitely do a lot more interactive stuff because we did a post on Monday, had over 200 likes and a bunch of comments. So we're definitely gonna gear our social media a little bit more to be more interactive with you guys. So it's a lot of fun.
Don't forget, we're still looking for submissions for Pal of the Week. If you are in a creative rut and need a break, you should stop right now and start working on something for Pentool Pals because we want to post you and we want to see what you got. So get creative. It could be anything within the realm of anything. It could really just be completely open. But just throw Pentool Pals on it. Maybe it has anything to do with like a hand or a pentool or pencil or sun or wave or butthole. Up to you guys.
I wasn't expecting that. I love it. Big old butthole that says Pentool Pals.
Someone gives us fan art with a butthole, then I'm gonna be sorry I asked for that.
I know, right?
Yeah, we're super stoked to see what you guys come up with.
Yeah.
And get involved. We'll definitely give you guys an artist spotlight on the page.
Yeah.
If you're a big investor and want to pay Pentool Pals a lot of money, we are looking for advertising. So
sponsor us.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're
True
cool.
Grit Texture Supply, we're coming for you. Liquid Death, I love your stuff. I love your canned water.
Yeah. So other than that, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for being a pal, Cole.
Thank you for being my pal, Cam.
Yes. Till next time.
Thank you for being a pal.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Thanks for being a pal. And thanks for watching this episode. If you like this episode, there's plenty more. Go ahead and watch them. They should pop up right here if Cam did a good job editing. And if you didn't, they'll probably be here soon. Thanks so much for being a pal and watching our show. We'll see you next week.